If you've been here for a while, you have seen me plagiarize lots of red carpet looks, and obviously I've always dreamed of attending a red carpet event myself, but I had no idea how to get invited to one. I've seen several influencers with technically smaller followings than mine go to premiere after premiere after premiere, and I'm like, where is this secret magical post office where y'all are picking up your sparkly invitations? Fast forward to now when I'm going to
the premiere.
And now I understand just as little as I did then. Here's what I do now. The Lego Wicked team reached out, and they were like, do you want to go to the premiere of Wicked for Good? And I was like, yeah. It was probably tied for the third most exciting moment of my life, tied with the time I found out I got cast as Cat in the Hat in Seussical Jr. And they were like, there's more. You are going to be collaborating with an A-Fall. And I was like, yeah, I will. Adult fan of Lego. I love everything Lego stands for. I'm a creative person. I love Wicked, obviously. So they flew this whole team of people out to my house, including this lady from Lego in Denmark, and she quickly became my favorite Danish person I've ever met. And that's saying something because I have met another Danish person before who was also nice. And the amazing Justin Brady-Joyner, who is this creative Lego genius. And it was so exciting because it's not often that I get to interact with other human beings. I love people. They're like my favorite animal. I just don't see them much.
And then they shot some promotional stuff and we all worked together on a design. I was going to be wearing a pair of Lego brick panniers, or to use the more technical term, childbearing hips, which Justin would be building out of a mesh like this.
Okay, the time's come. Time to make a dress for baby's first premiere. As our Lego master is going to be bringing the real oomph, I basically just have to make a simple, perfect, structured little black dress. Actually, let's make a mock-up.
The mock-up was created by tracing an old Valentine's Day dress I made, and I was shocked when it came out looking just like an old Valentine's Day dress I made.
Not terrible, but I think we want a more exaggerated waist and fitted skirt.
I made the adjustments, then for some reason transferred it all to muslin. Then I cut out a little time in my schedule to make a Hocus Pocus dress, and Dan made me a spell book, and ugh, I like that man from the pits of every fiber of my being. And then finally, I started in on the actual dress. If you're making this dress for the Wicked premiere, I don't know, maybe you're from 50 years in the future and they're rebooting the franchise using all Nepo babies of the original cast, or more likely AI renditions of the original cast, and you'll want to sew the dress inside out, then flip it right side out. I took another break and convinced this guy in my neighborhood who happens to love me to help me make a giant Oz head for trick or treat. The ultimate goal, as always, was to get in my county's newspaper. And while I didn't succeed at that, the local news did put me on their Facebook page, and I got to read about how many people are angry because apparently all the kids in town only trick or treat on my street and don't go to any other neighborhoods anymore. So yeah, I don't know if I'll do trick or treat next year.
We are T-minus 2 weeks away from the event, and the dress is halfway finished, which is hilariously ahead of schedule for me. Never even had something started 2 weeks before it needed to be done. But I'm taking this one very seriously. This will be like the second most important dress I've ever worn. Look what just came in the mail today. Justin. You did what? Here's the hitch. It is pretty heavy. So I need to 1, work out more, and 2, make my dress a heck of a lot sturdier. So we're gonna add another layer to the inside of the dress.
To clarify, I'm making a corset to wedge in the— oh my gosh, have you ever seen a disco ball so hip? I can't even focus.
103. Whoa, 104 now. Oh my gosh. I have a picture. I'm sorry.
I sewed that corset with all the speed and ferocity of a kitten who is actually not a kitten but a cheetah.
But now we've got to seam rip this in order to wedge in the extra layers. Oh no, there's nowhere to sit. Oh bother. Wait a second. If I bedazzled this, do you think they'll let me bring it to the red carpet? My feet do get awfully tired. Now, in order to let the pannier shine, the dress design itself has to look simple. But I know if a gown's going to be simple, the construction has to be perfect. So I really should be having someone else make this. Are you laughing at me? Let's check on him. Who was making those sounds? We have a corset, we have a bound dress. Now we just conjoin them. We've missed a few days. It is Saturday, the something of something-mer, and I'm tired. I hesitate to even say such a thing because I don't want to sound like
Try being an influencer for a day.
I know I'm in a job that is like a super privileged, cool opportunity, but I've not had one day off since August. Life is genuinely great, but I'm so tired. You're probably confused. Like, don't you just work however much you want to work? And that's true to an extent. Sometimes we make commitments, and we take on so many commitments that we render ourselves unable to take a day off because in this line of work, there's no guarantee of money. Like, theoretically, in 5 months from now, I could get no offer. I could get no views. So it really creates this sense of urgency when you do have opportunities and you do have offers. Like, you gotta take them all. I'm grateful for them. I love them. I'm really excited. I love all of you. I want to see other humans. Now let's run this through the machine. Yeah, I know. I look different. It's a different day. I had to do something else. Luckily, I'm feeling much better today. Praise the Lord for the time change. Turns out I needed rest. And lately, there's been no rest for the... Not even gonna say it. Wicked. If you're wondering what goes through my mind while I'm sewing, I would really like to have kids someday. I have some concerns. To the people who have kids, How do you make sure they don't like basketball? It really plagues me. This steel boning has broken so many needles, and I just broke one. And a little tip flew up and hit me right on my little lower eyelid. If that had been 1 skadillometer over, I'd be insufferable right now. Now I'm on my last needle, which is terrifying because Joanne Fabrics is out of business.
Why don't you just go to Hokey?
It's Sunday, and you want to know how I found out it was Sunday? Called my mom, told her I was craving Chick-fil-A. That's when she broke the news. Gosh, it didn't even hit my eyeball, and I'm still insufferable.
Guys, you see that?
Is this what I get for working on a Sunday? Okay, but good news, I did remember that I pretty much bought out the entire Joanne Fabrics store when it went out of business.
Pardon my flex, but everything was like 98% off, so this here pack of needles cost me 10 cents.
Let's resume. Finally done. Now let's unpin this and flip it inside out. He knows when it's time to unpin. You want help? Good boy. Get the next one. Good boy. Oh, shoot.
I realized I'd missed a spot, so terrified as I was of breaking more needles on those steel bones, I gave it another go.
And where have you been all morning, young man?
Choice.
Choice. Guess what? Finally finished. Seam at the top of the dress. Still a little cleanup before we move on to the next step. Next step. I have many teeth, but no mouth. What am I? A riddle.
I hand basted, then machine sewed a zipper into the back of the dress. Then I watched as Grandpa JJ taught Dan how to have a special bond with Garion.
Now I'm triple sewing the zipper in place because I have very low trust in zippers. I also made a lace-up back that goes underneath the zipper so that there's less tension on the zipper. So the dress itself is essentially done. I'm very happy with it. I know it's really simple, but I also took the time to make this attachment that if you put it right over the dress, it makes it look exactly the same. Then I realized I kind of need to budget my time more wisely, so I made this list. We still have to make gloves, add hooks and bars to the pannier and the dress, make a replacement skirt. I don't think they make theater seats this wide. And then I can mess around creatively, of course. Then we can finally go to the, you get the picture.
You're gonna want to cut on the bias if you're making a glove out of a non-stretchy fabric. Now gloves are necessary because November in New York, but them being fingerless is just as necessary because movie theater popcorn.
We have gloves. And we are officially one step closer to mess around.
That night, I tried to do a glute workout, but Garion turns every exercise into an ab workout. Hooks and bars are terms musicians are intimately familiar with, so naturally, as the only non-musician member of my family, I struggled a bit with this part.
Now currently, I am sewing these Lego bricks to the back of the top. I'm in a bit of a rush because today I have to try everything on, get a little video of it, and send it to Lego for approval, which they will then forward to Universal for approval. It's a whole thing. And I'm just a little low-level anxious today. Have been since this morning. My dad and I walked downtown for breakfast, and they were shooting a movie 2 doors down from where we were eating. Now, rewind to 2 minutes before I knew that. I'm just minding my own, eating potato chips and mayonnaise, when this cop barges in and says that they're shooting 2 doors down, so when we leave, if we could just go the opposite direction. And I gravely misunderstood. I was quite perplexed as to why no one else in the restaurant was panicking. So I did make a fool of myself and clarified, "Excuse me, did you just say there's a 2 doors down?" And he kind of laughed and said, "Oh, I should speak more clearly. They're shooting a movie on the sidewalk 2 doors down and don't want anyone to interfere, so if you could just go the opposite way when you leave." Everybody in the restaurant had a good chuckle, and I laughed of relief, but yet still the heart rate was up here, and I've been just working to bring it down all day. This is what I get for trying to go out and be around other humans. So, yeah.
But luckily, the sheer joy of donning an outlandish, fake fat caboose calmed my nerves. I got the test shots sent into Lego and they approved. Thus it was time to bid a temporary farewell to my pannier as I mailed it ahead to New York.
You shouldn't be bending over like that.
Stepped on a Lego brick. Valerie, be honest, do you think my grandkids will think I'm cool someday?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Why?
Because you are cool. You're undeniably cool. You're charismatic.
As Valerie listed my finer qualities, I remembered the real reason we were gathered that day was to celebrate my brother.
Micah, can you come here? Tell us what this is.
This is my publication in Nature.
What?
Now to make a replacement skirt, because I wasn't sure they'd actually let me in the theater with the wide load. And this dress was a touch too short and a heap too boring to wear on its own. This design was fun to fiddle fart around with, or as the classy people would say, violin flatulate around with. But it kind of made me feel like a Christmas gift, and Santa is a bananagram of Satan, so that scratched that. Instead, I took inspiration from the Fibonacci spiral skirt, which saw me do the most math that I've done since my last job interview. Which, in hindsight, is suddenly striking me as peculiar that I had to do a math test to get a job at a craft store. Mind you, I failed it, but they hired me anyway due to my charisma.
So I was starting to wonder if maybe I overdid it on the spirals, but then I remembered something that my late theater director told us. He said to the cast, "There's no such thing as overdoing it." Obviously that was a challenge, and an hour later he had to take me aside and say,
McKenna, can you dial it back a little bit? You're kind of overdoing it.
and that was one of the proudest moments of my life. Love and miss you, Jim. Dedicate this one to you.
Now, to be transparent, I did have a side quest going on here. I intended to make a dark mode Glinda costume, so I wanted a skirt that could double as that. And it turned out relatively fair, as far as cringy fanfiction projects are concerned.
Yes, please.
Guys, I just saw a very disturbing headline, and it was, "Are your socks making you look old?" Gen Z says anything below mid-calf length is a sign that you're stuck in the past. Why do we have to do this to ourselves?
I spent about an hour and 70 minutes hand-sewing each flounce to the band, attempting to coil the tops into rosettes, while my dad introduced Garion to the horrific world of jazz music. I opted to attach the skirt with Velcro. It only took me like a minute to sew the Vel side to the bottom of the dress, but to hand-stitch the corresponding Crow side onto the skirt took roughly 3 hours. With that accomplished, I spent the next 3 days messing around in a manner that produced a mostly finished Glinda for Good dress.
The video for which will be posted within a couple weeks, so turn on notifications for that. What, 2 videos in 1 month? What realm of the Spider-Verse is this?
Okay, let's go.
Dad even dressed up nice like a fancy limo driver to drive us to my first premiere to the airport. We made it to New York. Just gotta run back and do one thing real quick. Okay, let's go.
Upon arriving, we took a little sneak peek at the Lincoln Center, not to be confused with the Lincoln Center, no such thing. What? Honest Abe, he never sinned, and we explored New York.
Get a load of this. Only in New York. Bleachers, watch traffic. Only in New York.
Then at last, it was the big day.
So this morning, I'm heading to a photo shoot where I'm going to try on a bunch of Lego Wicked accessories that Justin made, so I'm super excited for that, and I will be heading to the red carpet. Super excited for that. And I think what I am most excited for is just settling in with a bucket of popcorn and watching Wicked for Good.
I was there for about 7 hours, and due to Dan's paternal trait of recording everything he's proud of, had about that much footage to go through, but I condensed it down to this. Then I did voiceovers in front of other people. I hadn't experienced that level of vulnerability since my doctor said to me, "I'm gonna have to visually confirm the hemorrhoid before prescribing you the cream." Soon I was reunited with the pannier, which I wore all the way to the premiere. I know that's not how you actually say pannier, but I'm never one to let the proper electrocution of a word get in the way of a good rhyme.
Oh, this whole thing. It's time. Look at this.
We made our way across the street and to the premiere. You know, my grandma was a pro roller skater, and she could light a match with her mouth against the ground while skating. I think it's important we all have a story our grandkids can be proud of, and this evening was that for me, and probably for Dan too. Let me explain something real quick. My agent had a connection that was able to get him on the red carpet last minute, and by last minute I mean he was just going to carry the replacement skirt across the street for me, and then they let him in. But that meant he was wearing this on a red carpet. So he wore my replacement skirt as a boa to be Dorothy's tornado chic, and he ended up getting a lot of compliments on it and actually got pulled aside for pictures, and he ended up on Wicked's Instagram page. While this was one of the coolest nights ever, I do want to put some things into perspective so you guys don't feel like too bad that you missed out. The popcorn was terrible, but even the worst popcorn I've had in my life couldn't detract from the sheer joy I felt at seeing these costumes in person. I learned more in 10 minutes than I did in the whole past year of trying to research this dress. But the very best part? Other humans. There were so many other humans. I love human beings so freaking much, and so many of them were nice and way prettier than they even look online. Guys, not even kidding.
This is insane. We both freaked out at the same time and we recognized each other. Now we have to figure out how to pee.
Oh yeah, remember that replacement skirt? Well, Dan was only able to make it so far as the carpet, so he wore that back to the hotel, and
I like watching movies standing up.
But in case you're curious, this is what it would have looked like. Mini reveal. Eventually the movie started, and I was able to record the audience's reaction to when Fiyero takes his suspenders off. The movie ended. It was amazing. I went back home and worked on my Glinda for Good dress. Stay tuned!